guys, just wanted to film a little bit of a video diary of my trip and all that God has done. I don't know if I'll do one of these every day, but for the first day at least I wanted to do this, especially because a lot happened in just the trip getting down here. So can you guys see this? The first leg of the journey was, I wanted to highlight how I didn't just go from my house to SFO and then fly out, but I actually came from Ohlone to my house and then SFO. And why? Well, it's because I took a final in the morning and then went back home and then to the airport to go down. And just wanted to highlight God's faithfulness in that, because when I signed up for this trip, it overlapped with the tail end, basically finals of the semester, and I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to do it, but God was gracious in that my professors allowed me to take the final early, one of them being an in-person one that was supposed to be Wednesday, but instead was Monday. She switched it to Monday, and so I was able to take the final and then get over the airport, and we made it in time, because I was a little bit nervous I wouldn't be able to, because I have missed flights before, and that was not good. But we made it. So then, San Francisco to El Salvador, first leg of the journey, about 5 hours. That was good. In San Salvador, basically no time in the layover, just get there, go to the pretty much other side of the terminal, and then from San Salvador, go down to Lima, another 4 hours. And then at that time, I had reached Lima at maybe like 3:30 in the morning. My flight then from Lima to Jauja wasn't until like 11:50. So I had like 6.5 hours. And that was nice because I got to figure out my eSIM situation. I got to do some work, got to call a friend from home a little bit and chat, and then walk around and get something to eat. And by the end of it, I was really, like, I didn't want to fall asleep in a public place, but by the end of it, I was struggling. I was struggling to stay awake. But anyways, by God's grace, I did, and then flew to Jauja, which took like half an hour, and then from Jauja, like, it's a smaller airport, rural, and you don't get onto, you don't get out from the plane to the airport. You just walk down the stairs directly onto the tarmac. And so I get down there, get my check bags, and then walk out. And then there's all these people holding signs for like, do you want to come on this tour? Do you want to come on this tour? And I said, no, I don't know, I don't want to, because I see in the distance my driver that they had arranged for me holding up this big sign that says Brandon Christian. And so I make a beeline over to him, get in the car, and we're off right away for another 3 hours. Another 3 hours trip from Jauja to La Merced. Okay. And I kind of wanted to highlight this trip because it was a really good time for me in having a kind of a conversation, well, yeah, a good conversation with my driver. His name was Elvis. And some things about him is that I think he said he's pretty much lived in Tarma, one of these cities that we drove through his whole life. And he's been driving people for about 10 years. He has a dog, and I was able to think of, oh, is it a big dog? Is it a small dog? Grande or pequeño? And he said grande, and he laughed. And he likes ceviche. Yeah, it was a really good time because the trip was a long drive, so that afforded me the time to be able to formulate the sentence in my head, or even like where we had reception, consult, translate before I asked him. And it gave me the time afforded to think about his question, and maybe even ask him to repeat it again before answering him. And I think God knew that I needed that because I've not really spoken Spanish at all for a long time, and so building the confidence in this kind of extended time where there's a little bit more, I guess, margin or buffer to think of things, that was definitely a grace from him. Okay, and then in the conversation, I was able to also ask him if he goes to church, and he said yes. And then from there, I was able to ask him, does he know Jesus Christ specifically, because I know it's a Catholic country, and so trying to be more specific about it. And then, and he said he does know Jesus, but then he kind of clarified that he knew him from the Bible. So I think what he meant was that he knows him in a sense that he's learned about who he is, just in an academic sense. So then I was able to ask him if he knows Jesus personally. And that was where he was a little bit confused as to what I meant. But he eventually said no. But hopefully that will be a question that he thinks about further. And then finally, when we got to La Merced, I was able to clumsily drop the "Hay esperanza en Jesucristo," and he was also confused about that. But I don't know if he was confused about it because I didn't say it correctly, or if just he was confused because, what do you say after that? I'm hoping it was the latter, and it's something that he'll continue to think about. So his name's Elvis, and I'll just continue to pray for him. So that was the physical trip here, and God is good. God is good. So we're here, we're ready to start the practices, start the tour. But just a good reminder on that long car ride that the ministry starts, well, just wherever you have interaction with people. One thought that I wanted to start my trip with was on the plane I listened to a podcast about the life of Tim Keller, and it was chronicling his battle with thyroid cancer, and it had a clip from one of his sermons where he's talking about how he was filled with just this inexplicable courage in facing this cancer, and that there was just a sense one day where he just knew it was going to be okay. He knew he was going to be okay, his family was going to be okay, this whole thing was just going to turn out just as it should. And he had a phrase about that the courageous Jesus holds him and holds you and me, and it's just an encouragement that we don't go anywhere alone, we don't do any of this on our own, but that our good shepherd has gone before us. He's the courageous one who has stared down death. He's faced all that we'll ever face and overcome it. So there's no reason to fear, and that's comforting for me. So I'm going to keep that in mind. Courageous Jesus goes before. So with that being said, I try to do more of these. Hopefully, it probably won't be as long, and maybe, there'll just be shorter accounts of just times where the Lord has popped up and reminded me that He's working and He's here. With that being said, the plan tomorrow is to get breakfast at 8 a.m. and then go to the church and start practicing. So I'm going to do a little bit more work and then call it a night and then wake up for that. So thank you for listening, and hopefully see you later.